It's the $1 million exercise that we had did on Tuesday. And how I presented it was that all right, I'm the recipient and you're a world-renowned known ministry. You've been watching my work, you like everything that I've been doing. You want to give this ministry $1 million. You have it in a bag, it's in cash, $1 million in cash in a bag. The caveat is I'm only going to give you 10 minutes to tell me what you would do with that money, and then we'll decide if we wanted to give you the $1 million or not. So we all did this exercise. I set a timer for 10 minutes, just to see how you would budget out the $1 million. So, like for me, I was set aside money to give. Of course, I set aside money for investing. I set aside some money for the kids. I set aside money for getting some vehicles. I set aside money for businesses. I set aside money for, I think I said ministry already. I set aside money so that we can actually get our own place, like we can rent a place. Because if you know here, like we go in faith and look at houses all the time, just wherever the Lord wants us to do, go to these places and do these things. Like just seeing what the Lord has for us. Because we either believing that He's going to get us to buy a place or we'll be able to rent a place. Like these things are crazy. Like $1.4 million for this 5 bedroom, 4 bath house that they're building. Like he moved us into the most expensive place, and like I just don't know how he's gonna do it. So I set aside some money that at least we can rent for a few years, and then build up money so that we can actually buy a place. If that's the natural man mind think way of thinking, he could just bless us supernaturally all at once, and then we could just buy the house or however he wants to do it. We are open to all things. So if it's ownership, if it's renting, um, and then owning down the line, however who wants to do it, do not place God in a box, is what I'm saying. All right. So with the $1 million exercise, all right. So I set aside some money for that, for renting a place, some lifestyle. So even with $1 million, I wouldn't be able to buy myself a whole house. So it doesn't make any sense. So you got to steward your money properly. You got to break it up into uh proper places. Oh, and I set aside like 40 grand so I could do some fun stuff with the money. Don't tell nobody. I told them that, they know. But anyways, you got to treat yourself sometimes, right? Don't listen to me. But that was the $1 million exercise. So we went over it. A lot of us really had the same thing. We would give, we would set up some businesses, we would definitely save and do some investments. Everybody is really believing for financial breakthrough and yeah, financial breakthrough so they can accomplish the things that they think that they need $1 million to accomplish, right? So the whole thing was we would go around, we would explain our plan with the money, and then everybody would vote yay or nay if we would prove it or not, or whatever. It was cool, it was fun. But that moves to this last part of this exercise or this discussion that I want to talk about is that money won't make you happy. So you think with the $1 million, man, I'll be able to buy this, I'll be able to buy that. I have now come to the understanding that if I am not happy in this current situation that I'm in now, then me moving my family into our own personal place is not going to change anything but the scenery. I'm still going to be bitter. I'm still going to be unhappy. I'm still going to be not content in what I have, just in a different location, right? So if you're not happy in your lack, if you're not content with what you have now, it does not matter if I give you a bag of straight cash, $1 million that you don't have to pay any taxes on. It don't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's not going to change anything. What it's going to do is going to distract and delay your anger until you're done spending it all on the things that you think that would make you happy to accomplish it. That's all it's going to do. It's going to distract and delay, right? So if you look at Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10, it says, "He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This is also vanity." So all the great things that we were gonna do with that, like, oh man, when I get this $1 billion, I'm gonna buy these businesses and I'm gonna make it $1 trillion. It's all vanity, right? It's all vanity. Luke 3, verse 14. Then some soldier asked him, "What should we do?" He replied, "Don't extort money and don't accuse people falsely. Be content with your pay." All right. Uh, who waiting on that raise at their job so that then they feel like they made it? I know I used to be like that. So I can't wait to make an extra $20,000 just to realize on an, all I did was increase my bills because instead of going to a two-bedroom apartment, now we in a townhouse that costs that much that I just made, right? It don't make a difference. If you waiting on the money, you ain't nothing is gonna change you when you get that money. When I sold the house and I got all that money, and all I thought about was, man, when I sell this house, I'll be able to pay off these bills. And then I would just think about that constantly, constantly. And when I was able to do it, you know what? Nothing really changed. It wasn't no like, oh, let me take the luggage off and throw it on the side. It was like, okay, it's done. And now I'm back to worrying about money all over again because I don't know how we're going to pay rent the next time, right? So you have to be content with where you're at. Hebrews 13:5 says, keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. So the point of this teaching is to I don't know how many times or ways I'm going to say it. Keep your eyes on the Lord. Keep your eyes in the peace of the Lord. Keep your eyes in the protection of the Lord. Keep your eyes in the provision of the Lord. Like, to go back to what I said I was going to circle to when it comes to like destruction of money is, I used to hear people that had millions of dollars say, yeah, being a millionaire is a lot tougher and this, that, and the third, and don't be in such a rush. And it's like, it's easy for you to say when you have all this money and I'm trying to aspire to have money. And it's like, no, I'm telling you this now from someone that hasn't made it to that point yet. Like, if you can't have peace now, you're not going to have peace. Then the money is not going to buy your peace. Your peace is only going to come from God. And if we believe in Jesus and we believe his word and we believe these scriptures, then you have to understand that what God is giving you right now, he's watching and he's watching to see what you're being content with and how you're stewarding that, right? Um, One of the things the gentleman put in the chat was after doing this $1 million exercise, start doing your research. Start doing your research and see how you can make these things actually happen if it was to happen. My thing was telling them, like, why can't you start all the things that you say you needed $1 million for? Start it now. Start looking into it. See what you can do. This didn't cost me $1 million. Doing Hungry for the Word just cost me my obedience. Um, what do you say? More salaries, more expenses. But learn that. Yep, boy, that lifestyle creep got me every single time. I would quit a job to get a new job just so I can have more money, just so I can spend it on something bigger, just so I can waste it on something else. That lifestyle creep used to get me all the time, right? But just at the end of this, um, you know, whatever your portion is that the Lord is giving you on this time, He knows your needs. He knows that you need this stuff. And He knows the desires of your heart, and He wants to give you the desires of your heart. But He doesn't want to give it to you in a way that it destroys you. He wants to prepare you, He wants to grow you, and He wants you to continually follow His lead. He doesn't want to place you in a position where you're in front of Him and now He's behind you. That should not be a place that any of us are at. All right. So I hope I summed this all up really well in the time that I have here.